Hey, what's happening, guys? What is going on? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels, and today is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. We're going to be running through the news. We got some business stories, some stories about the economy. We're going to be talking about what we have to look forward to, or I guess better yet, to dread in 2023. A lot of stuff to talk about today. This is kind of breaking news, but I guess the FAA's air traffic control system computers are down. I saw one article that said all domestic flights are grounded. Not sure if it's all flights, but at the very least, there are going to be a lot of flight disruptions today. And this kind of continues a trend that we've been talking about a lot lately, right? We're seeing the quality of our lives get kind of worse and worse, and we're seeing our ability to run and manage complex systems get worse and worse. We have, several cities in the country where they don't have clean drinking water. What is it? Jackson, Mississippi, Flint, Michigan, Southwest canceled 15,000 flights the other day. Power grids are cracking and breaking across the country. We have attacks on power grids. It just seems like we're kind of losing the ability to manage a lot of these kind of complex systems. And it'll be interesting to see what actually is the deal with this FAA air traffic control story. I think I was up at like 5 this morning. Most of the articles I was seeing were only about 5 minutes old. So maybe more news has come out about it at this point, but that's all we kind of know for now. Jamie Dimon has said he sees interest rates hitting 6%. Coinbase is laying off 20% of their staff, and the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, we'll cover the quote once we get into that story, but basically says prepare for a dark crypto winter. He said the contagion of all these crypto companies going down is not over. Looks like Genesis and Grayscale may be in trouble, but it looks like there may be an ugly couple of years to look forward to in the crypto space. We'll get a lot of stuff to cover today. I haven't watched this one yet, but I've been giving you guys some show recommendations and things like that. I saw an interesting Netflix show just came out within the past day or two. Not sure if you guys remember this story. If you guys are kind of into like internet culture and things like that, you may remember hearing about this one. You guys remember Kai, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker? He was like hitchhiked with some crazy guy. The guy wound up like starting to attack people. Kai hits him in the head with a hatchet, saves the day. He's kind of this weird hippie hero for a little bit. And I believe shortly after that, he wound up being accused of murder. But Netflix has a little docu-series on him that just came out. I was meaning to check that one out. If you guys have watched it, let me know what you guys thought about it. We already kind of covered the air traffic control story. Jamie Dimon says he would like to see the Fed rate hikes paused. He says, the Fed made a lot of moves really quick. We're starting to see inflation come down. And he would like to see the Fed pause rate hikes. But if we listen to the messages that we're hearing from J Powell and FOMC members, it's not going to happen. Rates are going to continue to be hiked through 2023, and they're going to remain high for quite some time. But Jamie Dimon says he sees rates hitting 6%, which is actually even higher than what the Fed says. I think Citibank said 5.5%. Jamie Dimon's actual quote, he said, we were a little slow getting going at raising rates and stopping inflation. It caught up. I don't think there's any harm done by waiting 3 to 6 months. I believe we get CPI numbers on Thursday. I forget when the next Fed rate hike is expected, but it's almost certainly going to be 0.5% or 50 basis points, maybe as much as 75. Jay Powell recently came out. He gave a speech the other day. He said the Fed may have to make some unpopular decisions and some decisions which may be politically unpopular in order to bring down prices. So, that kind of signals that rates are going to continue going up. They're going to stay up, and, the Fed isn't going to flinch just because we enter a recession or a depression. The World Bank warns that the global economy is perilously close to falling into a recession. They say it's on a razor's edge, and that's a quote. Not everybody is spouting doom and gloom. No, Evercore says that the recession will be shallow and short. Although then you have BlackRock saying it will be worse than your worst nightmare. So we'll have to see how things kind of shake out in 2023. Kind of another narrative that's being pushed is that this is going to be a white-collar recession. If you look at some of the lowest-paying jobs in the service industry, the retail industry, the restaurant industry, a lot of these people are making 2 to 3 times what they would have been making a couple years ago, because that's what hospitality, leisure, restaurants are having to pay to attract workers. Nobody wants to work in those industries. And we are seeing a lot of middle management let go. We're seeing a lot of these quote unquote disruptive companies that turned out to be zombie companies, right? They don't actually generate, they may be popular companies, they may offer popular services, but they don't actually generate a profit. So we are seeing kind of the bulk of the layoffs being among white-collar workers, skilled positions, etc. 6 major banks are expected to announce a 17% drop in net profits later on this week. And let's talk about the Coinbase story. Coinbase is firing 20% of their workforce. And this is a quote from Brian Armstrong. He warns of quote-unquote dark times in crypto. The recent Coinbase cuts means that 950 jobs were lost. And this is the second round of layoffs that Coinbase has done in the last year. Coinbase cut 4,700 employees at the end of September and had already slashed their headcount by 18% prior to that. Coinbase says they will also be shutting down several projects. I wonder if that's their NFT project that never really took off. Oddly enough, the Coinbase stock is up about 25% in the last week. And then one more kind of quote from Brian Armstrong. He went on to say that there is more contagion in the crypto space and kind of hinted that Grayscale and Genesis may be seeing problems, may wind up going under. I think Coinbase may be the last man standing when you look at major exchanges and major projects in the crypto space. The Atlantic had an article this morning titled Buy Now, Pay Later Bubble is About to Burst. This isn't a new story, right? People have been concerned about the Buy Now, Pay Later bubble for a while. Gen Zers seemingly rejected credit cards but went ham on Buy Now, Pay Later. Between 2019 and 2021, Buy Now, Pay Later loans grew over 1,000%. And, buy now, pay later, because it doesn't go through the typical channels that, credit cards and car loans and things like that go through. Potentially, you could run around getting buy now, pay later loans from, 3, 4, 5, 6 different companies. You could potentially rack up 50, 60 grand worth of debt that your mortgage company doesn't know about, a bank loaning you money for a card doesn't know about. And it's basically just allowing people to take on more debt than they can likely handle. And we hear news stories every day about how Gen Zers and young millennials are getting themselves in trouble with buy now, pay later. It's 4 easy payments of $20. I'll buy this, I'll buy that, and next thing you know, you owe thousands of dollars. If you don't make your payments on time, the interest charges start hitting, and people are going to find themselves in trouble. Guinness and Heineken are both raising prices. Ireland seems really distraught about the raise in the price of Guinness. They said that it's really going to hurt people. I suppose you could just kind of cut back or stop drinking beer out at pubs, but that is a big part of the culture over there. Also, the price of Heineken is being raised. I believe it's about 17 cents euro per can. Article from Fox 5 New York. New York grocery stores are considering locking up food due to theft. How is this going to work? You go into grocery stores, you go into a CVS, you go into a Walmart. There's literally you're lucky if there's one cashier and one checkout lane open with an actual human. The rest is all self-checkout, and then you have one person working at self-checkout who's constantly having to run around to the 15 or 20 different self-checkout machines because they're constantly blinking the light and kind of glitching out. Companies are trying to cut back on the amount of employees that they have. And when every single item in a store is locked up, how many employees is it going to take to be able to unlock all these items for customers? In his grocery store that was kind of speaking about potentially having to lock things up, they said it's going to ruin the shopping experience for people. They said you're not going to be able to walk around and look at labels, pick out the produce that you want. They said everything's going to be behind the counter, and you're going to have to come ask somebody for it. It seems like it's just going to be a huge headache. And if you look at cities like Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco, we're already seeing that. Laundry detergent locked up, deodorant locked up, shaving razors locked up. Anything you want, you have to go find an employee, have them unlock it. They are trying to work out a way to where your smartphone can unlock these things, but anybody can get a smartphone, unlock it, and steal. So not sure how that's going to fix the problem. But yeah, we continue to see shoplifting and theft be a problem for businesses. Illinois, within the past day or so, banned semi-automatic rifles and semi-automatic weapons. This was passed like in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m, emergency session during a lame duck session. Basically, any rifle that's considered to be an assault rifle is going to be banned. What's an assault rifle? I mean, I think according to their law, if you have a flashlight on your rifle, it's an assault rifle. If you have certain scopes, if you have certain beams, if you have a pistol grip, drop magazine, a ton of different, most semi-automatic rifles are banned. Also, any handgun that holds over 15 rounds, which is almost every handgun, right? Like, I mean, short of having a revolver or like a 45 1911, almost everything has over 15 rounds these days. And it's kind of weird that Illinois chose 15 rounds when California and a lot of other states actually have the 10-round limits. Every year, less than 400 deaths are attributed to rifles compared to smoking, drunk driving, auto accidents. I mean, you probably have more deaths from kids drowning in swimming pools and riding bicycles. So this seems like kind of a weird thing to focus on. Illinois also banned things like Glock switches, which were already federally illegal anyways. And this is all kind of ironic when in Cook County in Chicago, you have people getting in shootouts in the street. There was a case, I think it was last summer or 2 summers ago, but 2 guys got in a shootout in the street, exchanged over 70 rounds, and whoever the main attorney, attorney general, the main attorney in Cook County wound up releasing both these guys. She said it was mutual combat. So you can go have a gunfight in the street, exchange 70 rounds and not face any consequences. But God forbid you legally bought a rifle that holds over 10 rounds or is classified as an assault rifle, and all of a sudden now you are a felon. And we're starting to see more laws and rules like this kind of coming across the country. There's a kind of a cool glamping property kind of downstate Illinois. They kind of have these safari tents, kind of a cool place. I went there this past summer, and I recently heard that they abruptly shut down and laid off 65 employees. Saw one news article that said this is going to affect 500 different families. But again, the layoffs are not just in tech, they're not just in mortgages, they're not just in real estate. We're starting to see layoffs hit a lot of other industries. Wells Fargo is stepping back from mortgages. They were one of the main banks issuing mortgages, and they are stepping back from issuing mortgages, saying that they will only issue mortgages for their private clients or wealthy clients. On February 1st, YouTube Shorts is going to begin being monetized. With all these changes kind of happening right now, a lot of YouTubers are noticing they're losing subscribers, they're losing views. YouTube seems a little bit wacky right now. If you are a YouTube content creator and are part of the monetization program, apparently you'll have to accept some new terms by July 1st or July 10th. If you don't, you're going to be kicked out of the monetization program and will have to apply all over again. So if you are a YouTube content creator, make sure you go in and accept YouTube's new terms. And the sooner you do it, the better, especially if you make YouTube Shorts, because your YouTube Shorts will be able to be monetized on February 1st. We've been talking a lot about ChatGPT recently. Everyone's talking about it. Everybody's super hyped about it. If you guys want to see kind of a contrarian view, the tech lead, popular YouTuber, did a video the other day talking about ChatGPT. He says it's overhyped. It's not this genius AI. It's simply machine learning that does pattern recognition. Also, there was a recent episode of the Joe Rogan podcast, or the JRE Experience, where he had on Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Neil deGrasse Tyson also kind of downplayed ChatGPT, said it's not this amazing tool everybody's making it out to be. A lot of people are concerned about, you have artists concerned about AI art. You have copywriters concerned that ChatGPT is going to take their jobs away. Neil deGrasse Tyson was kind of trying to make the case that throughout history, we've had things that kind of come in and disrupt society, disrupt industry, kill jobs, but, jobs kind of evolve, society kind of evolves. He said, how many people are making like horse and buggies today? That went away, but now we have a car industry. So he kind of went on to say everything kind of evolves. And he kind of talked about how people always say it's different this time, and it never is. What do you guys think? Like, is AI really going to take as many jobs as many people anticipate, or will the economy and the job market and everything just kind of evolve, and there'll be whole new sectors and whole new jobs out there? I do think AI is kind of scary, just in terms of like we've already automated a lot of manufacturing processes and things like that. Now we're kind of getting to the point where something like ChatGPT can take jobs that, I think a lot of people maybe previously thought would never be able to be done by a machine or a robot. People are starting to worry about supply chains. Not only are the price of eggs up something like 47%, but apparently Costco and Walmarts across the country have recently run out of eggs. Apparently this is due to the avian flu, but we may wind up seeing egg shortages sometime here in the near future. And that's going to be bad because, right, like even though egg prices are up, eggs are still a relatively cheap source of protein. And when people are trying to save money on food, when people are really hurting because of inflation, having, one of the last cheap sources of protein go up in price, is going to hurt people. We recently learned that the Pentagon has dropped the thing in your arm mandate for troops. Easy to see why. Last year the military missed the recruitment goals by 15,000 recruits. This year it's anticipated to be about double that. We had 8,400 members of the military who'd already been kicked out. Not clear if they're going to be brought back or not. Was watching a Joe Rogan episode the other day, and I forget the name of the guest, but they were talking about the war over in Russia and Ukraine. And this gentleman was saying that Russia, isn't really... when Russia gets into a conflict, they basically just throw bodies at the problem. He said there has never been a conflict Russia hasn't thrown 500,000 men at, or 500,000 men. He said Russia has currently lost about 100,000. So that kind of signals that we're maybe a fifth of the way through this war. Let's talk about FTX. So the Bahamian branch of FTX, which generated no profit, apparently spent $40 million on hotels, catering, and flights, according to bankruptcy documents. Sam Bankman-Fried was spending upwards of $60,000 a night on hotel rooms, and this is he's already got these luxury condos and all this real estate that he spent the American people's money on, not even the American people, crypto investors worldwide's money on. And there's also a sister company of FTX who owes Margaritaville Beach Resort over $55,000. Zero Hedge article from yesterday, Biden is lying about jobs data, and they kind of talk about, we've talked about this a lot, right? We lost 1,000 full-time jobs. We picked up 679,000 part-time jobs in leisure and hospitality, restaurant industries, retail. We're losing good, high-paying jobs with benefits. We're gaining low-paying, dead-end jobs with no future, no upside potential. And this article kind of said we need to look at the number of people working, not the number of jobs. A lot of people are picking up 2 jobs, 3 jobs. We got another article. The Redfin CEO says that millennials are the roommate generation. He says a lot of millennials are entering a stage in their life when they would typically want to be looking for homes, and due to interest rates as well as the high housing prices, they are priced out. He suggested that millennials may want to look in the Midwest for homes. The Midwest, it doesn't see the huge rises, but it also tends to not see the huge falls. Sure, the Midwest isn't as exciting as the coast to a lot of people, but if homeownership is something that you really want out of your life, and you've been priced out of California and New York, you may want to look to the Midwest. I also saw, I think the national average price of a home was up to about $399,000. I'd actually seen other articles and stats that was over $400,000. But according to this one article I saw, the national home price, this time last year was about $399,000. It's fallen to about $350,000. But with the high rates, people still can't afford the payments. In April of 2020 to July of 2021, real estate appreciated nationally 23%. That's the highest on record in history, and that's faster than real estate was appreciating leading up to the 2008 crash. And again, we've seen the medium, not average. We've seen the median home price come from $399,000 down to $350,000, and we'll see if here in 2023 it's going to fall even lower. The CEO of Salesforce has continued to bash remote workers. He's also been bashing young workers and new workers as well. The CEO of Salesforce, who had previously touted remote work and how great it was, is now calling everybody back into the office. They want people back into the office Tuesday through Thursday. And he's basically saying that productivity has fallen. Here's a quote from him. He says, "We don't have the same level of performance and productivity that we had in 2020 before the pandemic. We do not," he said, according to Insider. When we look at some percentage of the employees, especially some of the folks that are new employees, they're just not as productive. He went on to say, "Are we not managing our remote employees well enough? He said during the call, do we need new skills? Because that's never happened in the history of the company. And he's continued to go on and emphasize his anti-remote work sentiment. And he's also suggested that younger workers are less productive. And so I think this is going to be a continued trend we see in 2023, bringing people back into the office. Bob Iger at Disney recently called people back into the office, I think, four days a week, if not full time. Cart.com, one of Austin's most exciting and fastest growing startups since moving to its headquarters in Austin in 2021 with $240 million in fresh funding, is laying off an undisclosed amount of workers. A gaming and esport brand called 100 Thieves is laying off employees. Blend cutting 30% of the workforce. And then just the last story of the day, I don't know if you guys remember, there were a couple guys arrested. Basically, it was kind of like an insider trading kind of thing. Coinbase employees were telling their family members which coins were going to be listed so that they could buy the coins and see the huge run-up in price. This was a big story from a couple years ago. A gentleman by the name of Nikhil Wahi will serve 10 months in prison after allegedly receiving tips from his brother about what cryptocurrencies were about to be listed on the platform. So that's all the news we got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. And if you guys have any suggestions for stories that I should mention in future videos, or if you just have any comments, thoughts, or opinions on anything we've discussed today, please go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.